how regenerative communities drive the regenerative movement. And before we before we dive into this, I would like to touch on why I am talking about what I am talking about today. And that is my personal purpose and mission of regeneration. Professionally, this has started in 2019 with my partner Oscar and I founding The New Activist to empower and connect projects doing good for the planet, basically. Our first vertical was plastic, so we created a membership platform that allows you and your business to offset your own plastic footprint, so your plastic consumption. So for $4.44 a month, you get to take responsibility for it and empower projects that are doing the work. Cleanups, and upcycling, and prevention through educational campaigns. Through this vertical, we found ourselves somewhere in the jungle here of Mexico in Akumal and ended up partnering with a hotel village there that we're building with recycled plastic at this time. They asked us what we would do with the space if we had the keys to it, and we said it should be an eco-incubator in a regenerative community. As they were low on business, they were open to it, and so this is what we did. It was a beautiful and challenging and very inspiring experience, and we got to fully understand the importance of regenerative communities for both humanity and the ecosystem. So we moved on and decided to take this mission global, and with that opened our second vertical, the Regen.Tribe, empowering and connecting regenerative communities across the planet. I'm mentioning a couple of things on how we do this, but I'm touching on this later, so let's get going. This is, I wanted to skip this because we might get tight on time, but maybe I'm risking it. This is Ecomal, the community that we co-created, and the first event that we hosted there. It's pretty sweet. So let's look at it. Yeah, we're still under construction at this time, but you get the spirit. Yeah, here we co-created an event that is actually a nice analogy for the regenerative movement or for what we're doing. We got people together for fun, like for a fun day, you know, full of ceremonies and activations and fire dancers and all sorts of awesome things, while also holding space for an eco market, pushing sustainable brands, holding workshops on sustainable regenerative topics, and really combining it all and really inspiring minds that this is the regenerative lifestyle. Like we can come together for fun and for beauty while also creating an impact. And this is what we're all about. This is what regenerative communities and the regenerative movement are about. I love to say that regenerative communities are the embodiment of the regenerative movement because it is a place where it all comes together, where we learn how to co-live and co-work, communicate, cooperate, make use of sustainable solutions, and live in alignment with nature. So let's check out about that. Before we dive into it, I'm giving a quick idea on what regeneration really means. When we dive into the definition of it, we quickly understand that it goes way beyond agriculture and way beyond the soil, straight through the soul, really, into all areas of life. Come on. It is a regrowth or loss of destroyed parts, the revival or rebirth, the origination of new tissue to repair the waste of the body or the planet or the system, right? It is basically the ability of an organism, of a system, to renew and evolve itself to a higher level of self-organization. And this is what the regenerative movement really stands for. There's no clear definition on this, but it comes back to embodying a mindset of collaboration. Tarek has touched on it. We're all on the same mission. Like there's no competition in this. We're all co-creating businesses and abundance and regeneration at the end of the day. For this, we as humans need to understand that we are part of an ecosystem. We're not dominating it, we're not above it, we're not below it, we are part of it. This planet has been around for millions of years. It has done all the A/B testing for us. So we might as well accept it as pretty fucking intelligent. And for us to embody this and understand this actually allows us to tap into this intelligence and make use of it and create abundance for us from it. Which comes back to creating intelligent, self-nurturing, and holistic systems that touch all areas of life. Agriculture is a really good example for this. Instead of using monoculture, growing the same thing over and over and over again and depleting the soil of all of its nutrients, and with that releasing a whole bunch of CO2 into the air that leads to climate change and needs a whole bunch of pesticides and make us sick at the end of the day, and walking down this downward spiral, we can instead use permaculture and make use of the natural systems that the super intelligent planet that has been around for such a long time has already figured out for us, and create abundance from it. We can actually work with the soil and create very nutritious food that needs less resources. We need less water. We don't need pesticides anymore. And we create abundance, intelligent, self-nurturing systems that end up regenerating our planet and improve lives. Planet will be here without us too, right? Not the other way around though. So what is a regenerative community in all of this? It is basically the playground for all of this to come together. It's the microcosmos of everything that I'm describing. We have my co-founder Oscar here that's going to touch for us on, you probably have to do this from the laptop, right? Thank you. Regenerative communities.
Hey guys, I'm Oscar, a community creator and a lover of the potential of humans and what they can do when they live together, work together, and create together. Today we'll be discussing the topic of regenerative communities. What is a regenerative community, and How does a regenerative community come to be? A regenerative community is comprised of multiple pillars, the different departments of the community that allow it to function and be self-sustaining. Some of these pillars are housing, water, energy, food, many of the things we need to live as humans, and extra things like human element, governance, how do we live together, how do we decide together, finance, business, economics in general. All of these topics working together allow this community space to be a self-sustaining environment. And with the intention of creating a net positive impact outside of it is what makes these communities regenerative, nourishing for the inhabitants and the spaces that it affects. Follow us on this journey to explore regenerative communities.
All right. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Luca. So a few of the things that Oscar also touched on, I summed up here and roughly categorized them to human dynamics, land stewardship and impact, and fintech and business. These are like the rough categories that are gonna lead us through the next few minutes. Human dynamics. I kind of touched on this earlier. Like in community, we really get to learn how to co-live, to co-work, to communicate, to cooperate again. How to speak to each other in a non-violent way, right? How to make fair decisions, and how to grow and heal individually as well as a collective. Also how we express, how we play and come together in purpose. At the end of the day, we're all just kids playing and figuring it out, right? So we might as well enjoy that. All of these attributes, or rather their lack of, are also the major reasons, the major causes for the rise of depression and anxiety in our global community. And the last couple of years of COVID has shown this really intensely. We also see it here in the graph. The dotted line is the year 2019, so before the lockdown hit, and the bars are 2020 and 21 for depression and anxiety, and we see very easily that it's a significant rise. It just underlines the importance of social connection, of the perception of safety, of human interaction for our well-being, right? I don't know how you guys spent the last couple of years, but for most of us, it might have sucked times at least, right? And now imagine you would have lived in a regenerative community somewhere that is fully autarkic, that takes care of its own food, water, waste, energy. You wouldn't even have to leave the space and expose yourself to anything out there. You have it all in play. You have your friends, you have your family, you have your house. You might work there as a developer, or as a barista, or as a permaculturist, or as a yoga teacher, or you do your home office as the rest of the world, just that you get to choose if you want to work from your kitchen table or from one of the communal co-working spaces. It's kind of what we experienced in the second half of the pandemic at Ecomatu, and I can say it was pretty magical. Yeah, the regenerative movement starts within. I mean, would you say that your level of well-being interferes or has an effect on the way you treat yourself, the way you treat others, and your outlook on life? Like, is it more likely for you to respond kindly to an outrageous person on a day when you're feeling like super happy and loved and connected? It's definitely the case for me. Or would you say that your abilities to communicate and regulate your thoughts and emotions have an effect on your interpersonal relationships? Yeah, for sure the case for me. Or is it more likely for you to give back, to be innovative, to bring life to an awesome idea when you're not stressing about paying rent and feeling isolated and distressed? For sure the case for me as well. So through allowing ourselves to heal, to connecting to others, to come together in purpose through the system, that the life that we create for ourselves on a daily basis the human interactions, the relationships that we live. We really create this foundation, the seed, as we see on this image, that then allows ourselves to expand into a broader ecosystem, to give back, to be innovative, to engage in projects, to fund, to create businesses, to create a net positive impact, to, be regenerative after all. So how do we do this in community? We create community guidelines that shine the light for us on our decision making, on our communication. We communicate roles and responsibilities clearly. We learn together. We're kids, right? So we are open for sharing and for learning. And we learn on how to personally develop. We move, we meditate, we heal, and we deal with conflict. We come together in fun, and we co-create and co-work in spaces. We hold space for people to come together without having to entertain each other. This is one of the most powerful things of community, I think. In our Western societies, we've kind of unlearned this. We come together at a dinner table and we stare each other into the eye for a while and then we go back home. But what if we just start sharing space with each other again? Just as you guys might be doing this here too. It is super powerful and the inspiration for more to come. That brings us to land stewardship. The way we treat ourselves and we treat others has a lot to do with how we treat the environment too, right? And I'm not going to go into detail on any of this, but it is obvious that we obviously make use of sustainable solutions within regenerative community. We touched on food a little bit. We take care of our water. We're just smart about energy consumption and production, and we take care of our waste. We understand that there is no waste because everything is just a used source, a resource, right? So we can reuse everything that we're touching. Tarek touched on plastic to fuel before. One of the most exciting projects that we are involved with too, PatGas is their name. They have figured out a way, they created a machine that allows us to break down plastic into its original components just by adding a little bit of temperature. It's below 400 degrees Celsius. Right, they're amazing. I mean, these are alchemists, really. A little bit of temperature and vibration, and any kind of used plastic breaks down into gasoline, diesel, paraffin, and kerosene. Very, very valuable resources, right? This creates the shift for us from treating it instead of waste as a resource again. Something that we know about steel, we would never just throw away a bunch of steel because we know it's a valuable resource. Same applies for plastic, but we haven't really figured it out yet, or the best ways to monetize this. And so PatGas is a huge shift in this space. Composting is composting is another very obvious example. Yeah. Village design and construction, same thing applies here. We're just being smart about it. I mean, we're obviously designing with the land. We look at the topography and we see the waterways and we build our roads around it, not through them. It just doesn't make sense. We're being minimal invasive, so we're just developing a small percentage of the land in one corner and leaving the rest untouched so the ecosystem can continue to live. Being smart about our designs and how this affects our energy consumption. And this brings us to impact. How can we expand into this broader ecosystem, right? What can we do? We can plant trees, we can have beehives, we can incorporate animal shelters and be part of digital communities. Give back, share your knowledge, share your resources, share all of these experiences that you're making with others so they can benefit from it, so we can all grow together. Take 2 minutes? Yeah, Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, that's not gonna happen in 2 minutes. Okay, I'm flying through this. Check. One of our major missions in this movement is to take the community out of this like hippie corner, you know, of just people with dirty feet holding hands and eating organic food and dancing in a circle. You know, we love that too. But we got much more than this. And tech and finance and business are major components of this. As we have 2 minutes left, I'll be flying through this. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities that tech and blockchain hold for us, right? And the way we organize ourselves, the way we make decisions, and also how we monetize. At the end of the day, it's a business too, or it should be a business. So we have the opportunity of maybe selling the food that we grow, or local artistry in local stores or markets, but we might as well sell it online as well, right? And give it back to more. We can bring it to a farm-to-table restaurant and actually connect with other communities in the area too, or other farms or businesses, and create a network around this. Create a couple of Airbnbs, and all of a sudden we have a whole bunch of ecotourism going on that doesn't only generate income for us, but also gives us the opportunity to create immersive experiences for people and inspire them for this way of living. Most of us are not going to move from our London apartment into a regenerative community somewhere, right? This question just doesn't arise. But we might check out an awesome event next time we're in Tulum, or we might stay at this beautiful Airbnb and wake up in this community and realize it's amazing. And we have conversations with people there that inspire us for a more conscious lifestyle. What, you know, all of this is about. The regenerative movement starts within. Okay, let's move on. Digital communities, man, I mean, they really are the powerhouse in all of this. And we wouldn't be here if Michelle and the Nomad Escape weren't doing like such an excellent job at building digital community, right? This is how we all found each other today, and this is how we're experiencing this immersive experience. So they allow us to find our tribe, whatever that is, to share and find resources, to create meaningful connections, because we actually get it to share our knowledge and our experience in a space that people are interested in. Not just the people that happen to be next to us, but people that come together because they care about the same thing. Link online and offline world, as Michelle and Luca are doing this excellently. And expand your brand, your business, your impact, whatever it is that you're working on. Scalability, I mean, like how many communities can can we create in our lifetime? Maybe 10, maybe 20, maybe like 50 if we're like really good. But if we create a community of community creators that empowers each other, and us not longer being the bottleneck of all of this, we can create millions. And this is what we're here to do. This is why digital communities are as powerful as they are. Ours currently lives on Discord for many good reasons. And I hope I get to welcome all of you there tonight. It's the Regen.Catalyzer. All right, connecting the dots. This is what all of this here is about, and this is what we're about too. So we're building digital community. I'm already touched on this. I'm skipping through this. It's a major part of our mission. Here are a couple of impressions of what we do in the offline world too. The community that we co-created, hosting regenerative co-working days and workshops on regenerative co-creation, working with land projects, of course, sitting in many meetings, and really creating this community of community creators in the offline space too. Currently focusing on this area here because we're bootstrapping the whole thing, and starting here. But yeah, rolling out the field from both ends. I already touched on this. what we're finding, we're offering it through the Regen Catalyzer, we're offering a whole bunch of support with the intention of being like a one-stop shop solution hub, basically. Basically agency and consultancy services with a strong focus on the storytelling right now. What we're finding is that it's really partnerships that people are seeking. That it's really just humans wanting to work with humans and wanting to, that just need someone to co-create with. And you might find it in building your own brand as well. That we go just beyond these classic work for pay situations. So co-creation holds a different value and lets us grow together. Michelle's already in the books.
I am.
Yep. This is the summary. Regenerative communities are indeed the embodiment of the regenerative movement, and we are excited to be part of it and hopefully meet you in there too. We're also a non-profit tech startup and always seek all sorts of support. Calling in you if you hear the call. We'll be really, really happy to connect.
Can I have a big applause
Thank
for
you,
Julia?
guys.
Well, I chose them because I think like many of us are traveling and we're staying also in a property like this. I don't know if you are aware of this, but I very consciously chose this property to host this events, to let you experience how is it to live in a jungle. And everything here is like sustainably built.